Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to Silverstone. We're going to jump right into qualifying. As you can see, it's absolutely pouring it down, so I've got a set of wet tyres. I have a bit more fuel than needs be for a qualifying lap, but a few extra laps of fuel doesn't really, I don't think it will make that much of a difference. And if it does, I don't think it's going to be worth worrying about too much. But as you can see, L2 Azar did the best lap of the record here at 0.803 seconds, so kudos to that person. But as we come over the start and finish line, the start of qualifying lap, looking out for the 200 board, braking down the 4th gear, it'll take us about 90 miles per hour. The wet tyres don't grip as well as mediums. I think they're just a bit worse than mediums. It's quite hard to get them, but you do slide quite a lot with these. Braking halfway over the curb, down to 2nd gear, turn in, and then as you've turned in, straighten up, accelerate, and come down the back half of the track. If you're enjoying what you see here, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. As we're coming down to our next corner on the right side, looking out for the 200 board, braking down to 3rd gear. Let it coast around, accelerate a little bit to get over to the outside curb, then brake hard down to 2nd gear and rub the inner curb. After you leave the last pink pad on your right side, accelerate out the other side and basically come over the start and finish line again. That first lap is going to give us a time of 1 minute and 4 seconds. So that gives me 6th place right now. Not the best place to start. I don't really like starting mid-pack. It seems to be quite chaotic mid-pack. You don't really want to start there. You either start at the front in the podium or you start at the back of the pack and work your way up. Being in the mid-pack means being in the middle of the chaos. I mean, don't get me wrong, things have got better over time, but it's not a chance I'm willing to take. So let's see if we can get better on this lap. We're 0.149 seconds down this time around. It's not looking good up to now. Looking out for the 200 board. Braking down to 3rd gear, sorry. Let it coast round. And then coming over a little bit too hot there. And then down to 2nd gear. And as you come around the pink pads, you can see the track's getting wetter and wetter at the moment. So you have to constantly adapt to where you're going. We are 0.8 seconds off our last best, which we're 2nd down. It's not a good place. Not a good time whatsoever. Right, 3rd lap. This one's the one that counts. Well, they all count, but this is the last one I've got to make count. As we come over, just a touch too wide, gives me an off-track warning and a 0.1 second penalty. Amazing. So that is that over. I'm not going to bother for qualifying anymore. I'm 6th place. It is what it is. Race start. Now, as you can see, it is very dry. It stopped raining, but I have chosen the wet tyres. And you're probably thinking, Flash, you're an idiot. Why did you choose the wet tyres? Well, because I don't trust Forza. And the reason I don't trust Forza is because every race I've done that says sunset has been in the dark. That is not sunset. Sunset is when the sun is going down and there's still light. Dark is dark. Like, you know, that's night. There's only me and one other person that has chosen wet tyres, and they're also in an MG. Everybody else has gone on to mediums. So, have I done the right thing? I don't know. Time will tell. But I do know one thing, I've got to be very gentle with these tyres because they will wear very quickly on the surface that is dry. But as we're coming down, we're still in 5th place. People are catching up to us because I don't have the grip that the medium tyres have. So I am already at a disadvantage to an extent overall to everybody else. I do go off track and get myself a 0.3 second penalty. Amazing. I literally, just the back end pulled me over, but it is what it is. You can see already after 1 lap, and it's only a minute a lap, I've already eaten some of my wet tyres, so I've got to be real careful with these. Looking out for the 200 board, braking down to about 95 miles per hour. I'm doing about 100 there. Coming over, as you can see, just a bit brave there, so about 95 on wet tyres and medium tyres as well. You see the Audi behind is pushing me about a bit. I'm trying to be a bit more cautious whilst trying not to lose a position as well. But the Audi gets the inside line and I surrender the position. Coming down the back straight again. I come over to the right hand side, looking out for the 200 board and braking down to third gear. Now I'm getting a bit nervous now. I am eating through my tyres quite substantially, and I don't want to really enter the pits and change my tyres because that will just kill my overall position in the race. I'll put me to the back of the pack. Don't want that, do we? So as you see, everybody in front is getting away. I'm looking out for the 200 board on my left hand side, braking down to fourth gear, let it coast around like about 93, 95 miles per hour. That's a sweet spot. As you come halfway through that corner, power on, and you can see the cars behind. I'm not catching up, but I'm not getting away from them either. Lucky for me though, the heavens have started to open, and if you don't know what that means, it means it's starting to rain, and that means my tyres will be saved to an extent. Yes, I've eaten through a good third of them, but now the rain's coming down, well, it's getting a bit damp. That means my tyres aren't going to be getting so hot, it's not going to wear so quickly, and hopefully I'll be able to make them last in the rest of the race. The people in medium tyres now are going to start struggling because of the wet weather. You can use medium in the wet when it's drizzling, and it actually is faster than the wet tyres. You can see everybody's going into the pits now, and I'm staying out with the MG behind me. So we are basically in our own race, me and the MG behind, but like I say, my tyres are halfway through their life, so we've got to be mindful of that. They're going to be coming out the pits with fresh, wet tyres, so they will have an advantage to an extent, but we have our time gap advantage. You see P3, the L2 and the person likes the number 3s is 8 seconds behind, so we have a great time advantage. Now we just need to capitalize on that advantage, don't make mistakes, and be consistent and be gentle again with our tires, and we should be able to keep that 8-second gap, or if not, if it does depreciate, don't let it depreciate too much. My battle right now is with the MG behind. They're right up my trumpet. I wonder if they've had better tyre saving than I did in my first few laps, because they were further behind than I was, so they wasn't as aggressive as I was through the first few laps we had together. As we're coming over the start and finish line again, we're looking after the 200 board on the left hand side, a braking down to fourth gear, about 95 miles per hour, let it coast through, and then power on out the other side. You can see I came out the corner a little bit too slow, and the MG to my right hand side has taken that position. I brake a little bit too late here, just a few meters too late, and I managed to overcook it a little bit. Same with the MG on the inside. I think we both overcooked the corner a little bit, that's why there was a little bit of contact. No harm, no foul. I've got someone to follow now, and whilst I'm behind someone, I can apply pressure and hopefully push them into making a mistake, and I can capitalize on that position. I have just had my front near side tyre, or the front left hand tyre, come up with the minor warning. You can see me and the MG are having a very clean race, clean battle, and it's totally welcome because I like to be kept on my toes, and it's nice to have a good fun battle with someone that is pretty much at the same level as you are. You got to think differently. You got to think, where can I capitalize on? Where am I quicker than that other person? Am I quicker in a straight line, or am I quicker on the corners? But I've got to be mindful my tyres are now coming up with a warning marker, so I go through this corner a little bit slower, catch up to the MG, but I don't make a move on the MG. I back out. I didn't think I had enough turning angle as well as carrying enough speed just to make that maneuver worthwhile. So I'd rather stay behind and make them aware that I am applying that pressure. Hopefully a mistake will arise in itself. As we're going down the back straight, they've got the inside line on the next corner, so I decided to tuck in behind them, get a bit of the slipstream and catch up a little bit. I've got a penalty, so if I do overtake, I've also got to overtake and add another 0.3 seconds onto it. I'll come in a little bit hot, get a little bit of aero wash, and come round to the next corner. As you can see, the pink pads on the right hand side. After the pink pads, start accelerating and come out the other side. The great thing is, as we are, I wouldn't say we're battling each other, we're more racing each other and keeping up with each other. We are creating a much larger gap from the vehicles behind. You can see when we started off, we was 8 seconds. Now we're at 12 seconds from the cars behind, which is an absolute treasure to have, because that means we have quite a large buffer to play with on these next 2 laps we got left. As you can see, my tyres are, I'm going to say, they're going to be going on to moderate tyre wear very soon, and that's when they really all fall off a cliff. So we have 12 seconds to play with over 2 laps, which is 6 seconds a lap of damaged tyres, and I think really we can make this work. Coming down, looking on the right hand side, 200 board, braking just a bit earlier than 200, carrying the speed in a little bit more, down the second gear for better rotation, and my front left hand tyre's gone onto moderate wear. And I presume the car in front is also on the same as me, due to the fact of them taking that corner a little bit wide. I think it must have clipped in onto moderate wear as they were going through that corner, which obviously it's not like a gradient thing with Forza where your tyres are slowly depreciating. It's like it hits in stages. So we are now on moderate wear, so there's a switch flicked and your tyres are suddenly changing the way they behave. Coming up to our next corner, braking halfway over the curb, I come in a little bit too hot, and I was thinking I was about to run into the back of the MG, so I dived to the left to avoid them. Luckily enough, they let off the brakes, which created a bigger gap, which is really considerate, because if you think about it, I'm trying to avoid them. They see me run up behind them and maneuver themselves away from me running into behind them. It's not a deliberate act, and they know that, and it's just really great racing overall and considerate. So thank you, Wagner. You've been a great contestant here. Looking on the right hand side, I'm going to try and make a move as much as I can, try and get as close, but it's not meant to be. It is what it is, and I think we've done really well to even have P2 position. As we come over the start and finish line, Wagner lets off the accelerator and lets me take P1 position. Thank you very much. Obviously with a penalty on it, they still have P1, and rightfully they have P1. They was a hell of a good person to race with, so thank you very much. I actually do send them a message when I figure out how to do it. But let me know down in the comments below what you think about that strategy, and if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. Wagner beat me to the first message. I was struggling, but again, thank you for the great race, buddy, and I hope you get to see this video. Moving on to the next race. We're back at Silverstone again, but this time it's dry, and I wanted to see if I can get a better lap time overall and a better finish. So as we're coming down to start our qualifying lap, we're looking at first place is a 101.553, and I think my best lap is in the 59 seconds, but that was a very quick lucky lap. So let's say I'm early 1 minute, and that's basically what I've got to try and get. As we come down this back straight, keep moving to the right hand side, accelerate as much as we can, clip the curb on the left, halfway over the curb, braking down to second gear. Taking this in nice and tight, and as soon as you're out of the other side, power on and keep to your right hand side again. The exit of that corner is quite crucial to having the maximum speed coming down this back straight. Looking on the right hand side for the 200 board. Then we're braking it down to third gear, bring it into the inner curb, let it clip the inner curb and power on a little bit, and then let off again and down to second gear. Coming in a little bit too hot, looking out for the last pink pad and accelerating out the other side. As we're coming up to the start of finish line, we are going to have a time of, I would say it's going to be a minute, so we're at 59.1.007. That's not a bad time. That's not a bad time. It would have just 0.007 seconds faster. It would have been a sweet little time to have. Anyway, braking again and down to second gear, coming round to the right hand side, accelerating as early as possible, trying to maximize the power down this back straight. We are 0.069 seconds faster than our best lap up to now. I want a little bit more than that. I want to get it well under 59 seconds, and a very early 59 seconds, to have a good chance of keeping P1 position. Down in second gear here, looking out at that pink pad. As soon as you're past that last pink pad, accelerating out the other side. Yes, I'm scrubbing my tyres, but I'm trying to capitalize on a bit of speed coming out that corner, basically having the power there already. We're going to have a 59.875. Right, one more lap to make this work. See if we can make this lap a lot faster. Coming out the first corner wasn't as fast as I should have been, and you can see now I'm a 0.81 seconds slower than my previous lap. I can catch that back up, I know I can, but again I'm pushing myself a little bit too hard. You can see there I'm coming in this second corner a little bit too hot, but it does give me a longer run down this back straight, which means I can carry a little bit more speed. Right now we're 0.2 seconds slower off my lap, so it really wasn't to my benefit whatsoever, and I'm actually much slower this lap, and then I cut the corner too much and invalidate the lap anyway. But that is just the start of the downhill motion we're about to have right now. Because I used all my IQ on that first race and I waited time to come back to this race, I did do some races in between, they wasn't recorded, but I jumped from one race into this race. Now my mistake here is I didn't read what the weather forecast was going to be. As you saw in the qualifying lap it was dry, but as you can see in the pop-up there it says it's going to rain. And the track is a little bit damp, so I thought, well, you can run medium tyres on this kind of level of dampness. That is not a problem. So I put medium tyres on, the correct amount of fuel to get me through the race, and we start the race. I didn't manage to keep P1, I ended up starting in P4 position. Other cars were faster than me at the latter part of the lap, which is fair enough. But as we come down the first corner, we are looking out where the cars are around us. Gene squeezes me a little bit tight, but I can catch up in a bit of slipstream. The car behind me is giving me a little nudge to go, come on, get going. As we go into our first corner, I'm a bit cautious to the person on my right hand side. I don't like it when you come up to corners and people are nudging you from behind. It's like, come on, give me a bit of breathing space. You brake as well. But it is what it is. Sometimes you just get sucked in and you don't expect the person to brake, because everybody else has, to an extent, slightly different braking points, bar a few meters, but it is what it is. You can see now the track is quite good on medium tyres, and I'm trying to sneak up the inside here, but Gene cuts me off and I back out of the corner. Coming over the start and finish line, we're still in P4 position, but as we start lap 3 is where things start to change a little bit. As you can see on the screen, there is a few little raindrops, so I'm thinking, hold on a minute, something isn't right here. Maybe I should have put different tyres on, I'm not too sure. I mean, everybody else went on mediums as well, so I'm not the only person that was like that. But as you can see, the weather is affecting us, because everybody's starting to go a little bit wider than expected through these corners. As we come down this back straight, looking out on the right hand side for the 200 board, we're braking a little bit earlier here due to the weather forecast changing its mind halfway through the race and me not actually checking properly. As we come round this corner here, I'll go up the inside again and put myself in a position where Gene can't push me out of the way. But we all give each other space coming round, and I don't accelerate as early as I can. I didn't accelerate because I didn't want to have the car understeering into the side of Gene and nudging him out of the way. So I back out of the corner because I don't want to get clipped through this corner either. Playing a little bit too cautiously, I've got to be quite honest. The weather is affecting the way the car feels on the road and drives on the road, as well as I don't want to get clipped by Gene if he cuts the corner again and me be sent to the shadow realm. That's the two things I don't want. But as we're coming down this back straight again, the weather is holding at bay, and that's what I'm praying, that the weather stays at this and we can make it work. Medium tyres will be quite good like this. I brake a little bit too late. I brake at the 200 board like I would do in the dry, and I nearly catch up and crash into the back of Gene, which really kills my time coming out of that corner overall because I'm going in a bit too deep. Accelerating out of the last pink pad, and I'm trying to basically keep up with the cars in front. Jumping ahead, Gene goes off into the pits, and me and Centric are not hitting. I'm hoping that this weather will wear off and everybody else has gone into the pits and we'll be able to capitalize on that. As you can see, we are like on an ice skating rink. It has been raining quite heavily, and like I say, the track does dry quite quickly when it stops raining in Forza, and that's pretty much what I'm hoping for, that it stops raining. But as you can see, me and Centric are having a lot of fun together, and I think we actually have that much fun together that none of us choose to pit. None of us are choosing to go into the pit and commit to a tyre change, and we're just going to make this thing work. And it is an absolute blast, I'm not going to lie. Braking at the 300 board or not 200 board, full braking, and the car is just, it's just not gripping. We're just having a load of fun. And I kind of like that. If you think about it, this new style in the racing, that halfway through the race, even though these are short races, that you are forced to pit because of a weather change, brings a whole new strategy to the equation. Where before, in the first race I did, I chose wets because the weather said it was going to rain, and I was stuck to wets. In the first half of my lap I absolutely pretty much destroyed the front of my tyres, and then the latter half I massively benefited time wise, and I still had tyre grip left, which is absolutely brilliant. Where in this race I didn't choose to check what the weather forecast was, and I picked medium tyres, and I'm committed to my medium tyres, and you can see the shenanigans I'm having right now. Everybody's catching up, me and the Audi are just gliding everywhere. It's an absolute blast. And I kind of like the idea of this. It brings another new strategy to the mix of the game. You're not having the same circle. Well, if it's a short race, I'll just stick to one set of medium tyres and be done with it. Now you've also got to think, what's faster? Starting on the mediums, going to the pits and going on to wets, or starting on the wets and going off the track like I am? But going back, starting on the wets and staying on the wets and absolutely destroying them in the first few laps, or doing what I'm doing now and trying to make medium works when they seriously do not. It is fun though. It is fun though. I know I've said it several times, but it is an absolute giggle watching me and Centric, literally the only two people in this race, glide everywhere. And I've got to be quite honest, we're keeping a strong position. I understand I started in P4, but right now I'm in P5, being overtaken, so I'm going to be P6. Centric did have a better line. I'm going to see if I can make a move here. I'm taking it very cautiously. Look how slow I'm going. 60 miles per hour, where usually I could do it at 90. That's how much slower I have to go just to make these tyres work. It's absolutely brilliant. That's an alright giggle. I'm braking early, so early now. I'm just coming in. We're both just sliding around. At least I'm not the only one who went off track. That person with wet tyres also went off a little bit. But now we're starting to be overtaken by a couple of people. And they must be thinking, what are these two clowns doing? Why didn't they just put the tyres on? Well, if we put the tyres on, we wouldn't be having the fun we're having now. But if you think about it as well, like I said earlier, sometimes in a race it does drizzle a little bit, and you can make the medium tyres work. I wasn't expecting it to come down as heavily as it did. So, sticking to the strategy and hoping for the best, and then it got to the point where it was just too late to change as well. There's that as well. But now I managed to gain that position back from Centric. That's the only person I'm clearly racing with, because everybody else is long gone and had a bit more common sense than I did. But as we cross over the start and finish line, we're going to have a P8 position. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.